Thanks for joining us for some of our Bellsouth training videos. Today we're going to look at one of the most important issues of keeping poultry, that is getting water to the birds. These days we prefer to recommend an automatic watering system rather than just a bowl that you change every day. And so what we've done is we've pulled out one of our most common drinkers to show you how to use it and to recommend some ideas of how to use it. And that drinker is our BEC75. Now the BEC75 is good for 6 chickens up to 25 chickens. It's a small hanging drinker which is intended to be run from an overhead water supply. It can't be run from mains pressure, it needs to be run from a tank of some description. I'll get onto that in just a moment. The BEC75 works by having the water come down through a little filter in the top of the drinker, down into a valve area. Now the valve is on a little weighted spring here, so that as the water flows down into the bottom of the container, the weight of the water pulls the drinker down and switches off the water flow. As the birds drink the water out, the drinker rises back up under the spring pressure and more water flows into the bottom. Now we would normally hang this drinker using a cord and a string with a little adjuster and adjust it up and down until the lip of the drinker was about the height of the bird's head. Now this means of course it's a long way away from the floor and from the dust and junk on the floor, okay, from the litter on the floor, and it won't get in and get it dirty. We look to have the drinker about half full of water so we can adjust it for the amount of water that's in the bottom. To adjust these drinkers it's very simple. We simply hold the top half of the drinker in our left hand, grab the rim with our right hand, and our thumb is actually pointing in the direction that says turn this way, makes for more water inside. If we turn it against our thumb, we put less water inside. So we're able to accurately adjust about half full of water level. Now the BEC drinker comes in a little package, and the package includes the actual bell, the valve assembly, a piece of pipe to go with it, a little cord adjuster, and some bits and pieces that you can use for connecting up a number of different ways. It also comes with an instruction sheet already packed up, ready to go, with different ideas on how to use the drinker. Now the question that's then asked, well that's really good, but what do I actually do about a water supply to connect this? Well, the simplest water supply to connect this is actually a 20-litre drum. You can get an ordinary 20-litre drum, a little fitting just like this one, and put this fitting into the bottom of the 20-litre drum, connect a piece of ordinary garden hose or irrigation hose onto that fitting, and then in the packet of fittings that come with the drinker is a small reducing fitting. And that reducing fitting will mean that you can connect with the half-inch irrigation or garden hose to a drum and straight onto the small line which goes to the drinker. So now we will have connected to a 20-litre drum and put the 20-litre drum higher than where the drinker will be. Now it can be up to 3 metres higher than where the drinker is, or it can be down to only just a half a metre higher than where the drinker is. Now the best way to judge how long a drum will last is to think about the birds drinking 1/4 to 1/3 of a litre per bird per day. That's a very simple rule of thumb. So obviously a 20-litre drum, well 20 divided by 1/4 of a litre makes 80 bird days. If you've got 10 birds in there, about 8 days of water is in the drum. In the middle of summer it might be only 6 days. In the middle of winter of course it might be a fraction longer. If it's bantams you'll obviously get a lot more than that. If it's big heavy birds they will drink a little bit more than that. So the BEC75 is a good useful drinker to provide you with automatic water supply for a domestic situation. Why do we want an automatic supply instead of an upside down drum? Well, an upside down drum is nice if you're there every day to service the birds. But most of us like to be away for holidays. Most of us like to be able to have a little bit of flexibility and not have to find a neighbour who will conveniently come into our house. So automatic water is an important feature of backyard chickens. Thanks for watching our show.